The doctor then diagnosed me with an acute dystonic reaction. The I need to see a neurologist was moved from, we could do that in the future, that sounds like a good idea, to right now. I went to the student health center, but instead of giving me a referral, they said, you need to go to the hospital. They didn't say which hospital they meant. I didn't know if they were going to be sending me to the emergency room, which would be a 4 to 5 hour detour in my life, or the mental hospital, which would be a 4 to 5 day detour in my life. Which, considering I was already having a hard time getting by without my ADHD medication, that was a no-no. And they said, you don't really have a choice. Your choice is between an ambulance or the police officers taking you. While we were waiting for the police officers, I may or may not have had a panic attack. I ran out of the building in secret and hid in the library. Just like hiding among the books and like panicking and like sending panic texts to my then boyfriend. And he eventually coaxed me out of the library and I got into the police officer's car. I don't really know why, but this police officer brought me to the children's hospital. And so we get in there, and I'm still thrashing about. And I'm also having a panic attack, which just makes the tics so much worse. But I was definitely all there. The people in the children's emergency room didn't talk to me. They didn't even address me. They didn't address my boyfriend. I think they just talked to the officer or assumed things. And the first clue that there was something wrong was the fact that they put a sticker on me. And it said, for my own safety, please do not give me food or drink. I had just been to the emergency room just a couple of days before. It wasn't like I had that sticker the first time. So why am I getting it now? They got a wheelchair because I was getting so bad that it was hard for me to walk. And they wheeled me over into the adult emergency room. And I'm here sitting there in my wheelchair, clutching onto my boyfriend because he is the only thing that was happening, that was existing around me, that I wanted to exist around me. Everything's bustling around us. This nurse, who I now refer to as Nurse Ratchet, leans over her desk and goes, "Excuse me, sir, you're not supposed to be here." So he is like, okay, and he goes down to hug me, and I'm just like, nope, you need to leave now. Okay, and he releases his arm and he goes into the waiting room. So I'm sitting there in the middle of an emergency room, having a panic attack, having neck movements, arm movements, leg movements that I cannot control, vocalizing things I cannot control. My boyfriend has been removed from me. My phone has been removed from me. I have nothing to do. I have not seen my social worker since I left the school. I'm just sitting there in this wheelchair. So I start, wheeling forward, wheeling back, wheeling forward, wheeling back. A Nurse Roger just comes around. She steps down on the back of one of the wheels. And I was like, guess I'm going in circles then. Circles, circles, circles. Lots of circles. And she comes around. Boom! She steps down on the other wheel. And so I could still kind of move the chair, just barely, so I would kind of, barely move it. I eventually kind of looked forward and I laid down. Look in the direction that my boyfriend had just gone. It's the direction of the waiting room. Thinking, I could probably get down there. Kind of slip on my shoes, which I had taken off, and standing up just like the tiniest bit, and I'm kind of sitting down, and Nurse Ratchet goes, "Okay, that's it." And she comes over and unlocks both the wheels and starts wheeling me forward, and she's like, "We're taking you to a psych room on doctor's orders. It's a room with no windows and nothing but a mattress on the floor." So I say that under my breath, and she just looks at me and goes, if you use that sort of language, we're just going to have to lock the door. I get into this room. I still have nothing to do but play with my wheelchair. So I start playing with my wheelchair again. I start going in circles again. Nurse Ratchet comes back. Get out of the chair. She had 2 police officers lift me up. They took away my chair and locked the door. This is a very small space made of concrete, and there was a blue mat And that's all I had. And I just sit down in the corner, protecting my head as best as I can because I can't control my neck moments. I could hit my head on the wall, and I start bawling. I rip off the sticker and I rip off my hospital bracelet. I just sit there crying. But after a while, I was done crying. I stood by the door that had no handle on the inside, looking out the window with the grumpiest face I could muster, hammering at the door. Excuse me. Excuse me. Watching as nurses and police officers and patients passed by and doctors, and only a few of them looked at me. There was one nurse who was her station was pretty close to the door, and a couple of police officers were also close to the door. I don't even want to know why they were stationed near my door. This nurse, who I now refer to as Blondie, was like, quiet now, hush now, oh, will you be quiet? Just over and over and over again as I'm, excuse me, like as loud and as controlled as I could muster. It wasn't always very, very controlled. It would sometimes be, excuse me. Eventually, I saw the doctor open the door, and as soon as she opened the door, I started yelling, excuse me, why the am I in here? I just totally went off on this poor woman, and she came in with Blondie, and she goes, I've talked to the people you came with, and I don't think you are dealing with a psychological issue. And I said, well, no, duh. Tell Nurse Ratchet and Blondie that. And I just pointed right at Blondie. Tell me to be quiet now. It was stuttered. It was Nurse Ratchet and Blondie that. But I got the point across. She got me to calm down, the doctor, and she finally sat down with me outside of the room because she was going to put the chairs in the room, and I was like, no. And she talked to me, and I told her what I thought was going on. I'm like, I know these are tics. I know that I've had simple and complex, motor and vocal, and I told her my story. She said, well, you seem like a very intelligent, well-educated young woman who knows what she's talking about. Yes. The doctor ended up giving me the diagnosis I really needed and gave me a referral to a neurologist. That's what I needed. But I still didn't see a neurologist for a really long time to come, and I was not put back on my ADHD medication until then. I got diagnosed in December of 2016. It's really rare for people to have their Tourette's diagnosed so late in life like I did, and the diagnosis came too late. I had already been off my ADHD medication for half a semester. I didn't get my grades back up. I lost my scholarship. Thank you for watching the fourth and final part of my diagnosis story. Please like, subscribe, and share for more content. Stay safe, don't die, and remember, Livy loves you.